I'd like to call the Township of Windsor Zoning Board, Hearing Board to order.
All right, good evening, everybody. We're here again to convene the zoning hearing for Kauffman-Rausch Family Farm Partnership. We were here about a month ago, and this will be the second hearing. We're going to continue on with the applicant's case this evening. I believe where we left off, the applicant had finished with their first witness, and we are now on any questions that the parties have of the applicant's first witness. So, sir, for the record, the applicant is here this evening. Sir, if you want to come up and take a seat. And we should swear him in again.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, and Mr. Polonek.
My wife Laura is going to go first.
All right, she wants to go first. She was second on my list. Why don't you come up?
Good evening, everyone.
Aren't you going to make him pronounce it correctly?
Yes.
Say it again.
Polonek.
All right, I got it.
You said you had it before. Good evening, everyone. I just have a few questions here for Dave. A couple of have to do with the binder. First of all, you live in Windsor Township.
Yes,
I assume you've lived in Windsor Township your whole life.
yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Exhibit A3?
One second. We have an extra binder. Thank you.
Do you see how it, well, I guess you should read what it says with the line showing the limited guest room and
All right, good. Ma'am, when you speak, you gotta keep your voice up.
Oh, okay.
She's transcribing everything you're
Okay.
saying. So, are you directing the witness to
Just
look at
at the
applicant's
map.
Exhibit 3? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
If you could read what it says and show on this map where your construction yard is currently located.
Well, the construction yard in question would be parallel to Old Route 22. And if you look at this drawing, back to the proposed H&K development plan for the concrete plant.
So what is this area zoned as?
What is this area zoned as?
Mm-hmm.
I think it would probably be, maybe it's even numerous, I'm not sure, but that particular area would actually be, according to what I've been told, is it R2?
Where your whole construction yard is?
No, it would only be along Old Route 22, north of that proposed, where the proposed buffer plantings are.
So where your construction yard is, how do you understand it to be zoned? The construction yard itself?
The construction yard itself, we were under the impression that everything was zoned industrial, I.
Okay. Exhibit A4, which is the next page, basically. So this is a letter dated 1989. And if you flip it over, did you sign this document?
Yeah, Doris and I signed it.
Okay. And on the other side then, can you identify the zoning there? The part of the property along Old 22?
Yeah. And you can see the area where it was grayed in. That's part of the construction yard also.
So there's a line drawn on the map identifying the boundary of the limited industrial and the R2 zoning.
Yes, I see that now.
Okay. All right, that's it, well, for the moment, with the binder. I've got one more thing in a minute. We've had a lot of attention focused on this entire parcel. Not so much just that small parcel in question, which is the medium density R2 zoning. As the H&K plans later show, they really understood the zoning there because it was very specific on their maps. Are you familiar with the A18?
A18,
If you go to the second page of that, just sort of open up those maps and go to the second one.
I'm sorry, wait.
Is it 18?
A18, and you're looking at, ma'am, you're looking at the second page of A.
Second page.
Okay.
Turn the page, Dave. Second page. There you go. Does this plan show what part of the property is limited industrial and what part is medium residential?
No.
I'm a little confused here, where older 22 is. Now I found it. Monument Road is here. This would be the corner lot.
These houses.
Yeah, I see that, or I think I see it,
Oh, okay.
adjacent to older 22.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, that's it for the binder for me. I have a couple more questions. So at any point over these last years, have you checked any zoning with the township?
No,
So you were completely unaware of the zoning on your own land?
that is correct.
Are you still involved with the excavating company at all, or are you retired now?
No, I'm
You're
still
still part
involved.
of it? Oh, good. Does your company do any jobs outside of Windsor Township?
Yes,
Do you do jobs outside of Berks County?
we have.
Would work in those other areas require some knowledge of local ordinances and permits?
Not normally.
Yeah?
That's been done by other professionals.
Do you need, or are permits needed in order to do excavation jobs in other areas?
It depends what the particular project is.
Okay.
For instance, septic systems, they require permits.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just have one question for Dave. Regarding the exhibit binder, 8A3 again, if you could just go back to that.
A3.
Yep.
Okay,
On this whole picture, I know this is both showing the residential, portion of the farm construction land there. Across the street, I say from Monument, so the upper left hand side of the picture, shouldn't that land and the clean and green also be part of this particular plan or picture?
I don't understand.
Okay, because we're looking at this exhibit as a whole, piece of property, we're saying why couldn't the property be used across the street for this construction? And I know you've got concerns regarding back payments on stuff, but in my eyes, why can't we use that side? I feel that should be part of the applicant's plan.
Because that would require a rollback, and that would be an undue hardship, once again, on our part.
But still, it's all, just all things considered, whether that goes that way or not. I feel, don't you feel this should be part of the plan, because it is part of the property, part of clean and green?
I don't know.
Okay. That's fine, thanks.
All right. Next on my list is Steve Miller. Mr. Miller here.
Excuse me real quick, is there a Troy in the audience by any chance? Troy Noble? No, okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Is this, can I be objected to?
Yes, you can.
I can.
So the way this works, you get to ask relevant questions of this witness.
Okay.
This is not the time for you to make your own statements.
Right.
When you will be given an opportunity to present your own case, and you'll be sworn and you can testify, and you'll be subject to questions from counsel. So
Okay.
right now, you get to ask this gentleman relevant questions.
Okay. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be on track here.
We'll get you there,
Okay.
hopefully.
Mr. Kauffman, would you put your farm, that is currently the larger part of your farm, that's zoned in the light industrial, would you put that in conservation if it meant getting approval? Or,
No,
okay. Am I allowed to ask why not? Is that?
quite frankly, I don't think it's any of your business. And that's a financial hardship on our case.
Okay. So you have a lease with H&K?
Yes,
So in some regards, I'm grateful for the blue collar work, but they're a large company.
yes, they are.
If you got approval to change this to light industrial, the entire parcels, H&K seems to be large enough where they can say, I'll pay you the back taxes on the clean and green if you give me access to the entire yard. Do you feel like that's a possibility if you were given that as an option?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I can't answer.
Okay. What part of the land is H&K leasing exactly?
Which part? All right, it would be, the parcel that you're looking at, it would be from the residence that's marked on A3, 25-foot wide buffer yard abutting the residence, all the way to the right-of-way of I-78.
Up to where that creek is? Is that
No, your own direction. The creek is
to the left of the
to
creek?
the east.
Is I'm asking him if this is the creek.
I don't know. According to the map, that's what so if you want, you can ask him to show him the map.
Yeah, he's got it in front of him, if you
There's
wanna,
also, I believe,
Yeah,
it's
sorry,
on
okay.
the board there.
yeah.
So
So,
I'm looking at
are you,
this
are you looking, just
I'm
for,
sorry,
just
yeah,
for
I'm
the
looking at
record's sake, hang tight,
eight.
one second.
Oh, sorry.
Again, so one person's gotta talk at a time, because she can't type two people at once. So, I believe you're referring to applicant's exhibit A3, so why don't you come up and show the witness what you're referring to, he's got it in front of him.
Okay, so Monument Road.
This
Is
is
this
over
the creek here?
22. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't understand, and there is no law as to what is considered a creek.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, I know that this can't be the creek because the creek does not make a U shape on our property.
But you know where the creek is?
I know where the creek is, and as a matter of fact, most of the water that comes out of that creek is runoff from I-78.
Yeah. Okay. Is that part of, so between there though and that little residential corner there, is that where?
Yes,
And then back?
that would be the area in question that
Okay.
we're referring to.
That's where H&K is leasing?
No. That's the question that's before the board tonight.
Do you feel like your excavating operations could be more efficiently run where you wouldn't have to use this portion, not your?
No.
No. Have you ever had a study done, or somebody come in and do consulting?
No.
Okay. If you had this changed, the entire parcel, would you eventually lease it to H&K?
Rephrase the question, I'm not sure.
So you
say the entire parcel.
We're talking from Monument to Sunday, essentially.
No. We intend to farm.
Yeah. But we're talking about the entire strip there.
Are you talking about the section of the property that's currently in the residential zone?
Yes,
You're talking
isn't
about?
that the entire parcel there being considered for light
No.
industrial?
No,
No, it's all one
it's only a
parcel.
small portion.
Oh, only the small portion,
Yeah,
okay.
it's only a very small portion.
So is that your question?
That was one, yes, that was my question, you answered it, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Is that all the questions that you have, Mr. Miller?
Yes, it is.
Is your wife here tonight? I have her
She
next
couldn't
on my-
make it.
Okay. And next on my list is Brad and Heidi Gibler. Are they here this evening? No. Next on my list is Charles Culver. Mr. Culver here? No. Is there anybody that I missed? See no takers. Okay. Counsel, do you have any redirect?
I do, briefly.
Go ahead.
Mr. Kaufman, there were a few questions about obtaining permits. Has the applicant tonight, Kauffman-Rausch Family Farm Partnership, applied for other permits from Windsor Township for
Yes.
projects?
Yes,
Can you give some examples of where they've applied for permits?
there was I think it's roughly a 40 by 50 foot Butler building that we erected on the farm. We received permits for numerous additions to buildings. Right off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of what else we've done. Over my sister's farm, which is part of our entire operation, we applied for manure storage and heifer and stream bank fencing to keep the cattle out of the creek as far as the conservation district is concerned, and also in regards to the water supply that feeds Reading.
So you understand that permitting is part of expansion and that type of thing, and that there are regulations that apply, correct?
Yes,
And do you also understand that if the board acknowledges through its approval, hopefully this evening, that we have an existing right based on historical usage for this specific 2.6 acres, that if in the future expansion beyond that was desired of the construction yard use, additional permits and approvals would be required?
absolutely.
Similarly, if in the future H&K did lease additional area, that would be subject to permitting and approvals, correct?
Correct,
And you would certainly ensure that that occurs on your property, correct?
yes,
But at this time, you don't have any intention of leasing land on the east side of the creek to H&K,
No.
correct?
absolutely not.
With regard to your excavating operation, right as we sit today, there were some questions about what your construction yard is. Is it fair to say that it is expansive, essentially running from 78 all the way south to Old Route 22?
Correct,
And so the proposal to keep it limited to just this 2.6 acres is already a significant consolidation, is that correct?
correct,
Is the excavation company disposing of certain materials and equipment in order to consolidate its operations and stay within the existing footprint?
yes,
There were some questions about farming. I believe, am I correct, you testified that this land has been in your family since approximately 1960
1904.
in the family? Okay.
We have the 7th generation on the ground.
Has the overwhelming majority of that property been in agriculture since that time?
Yes,
Do you intend to keep the majority of this property in agriculture?
absolutely, that's our drive in life. One of the reasons we're looking at additional income source from outside of our operation.
And Kauffman-Rausch Family Farm Partnership, the applicant tonight, does it also have a dairy farm operation on its property?
Yes,
And is part of the business model for you and your sister to primarily farm and have other smaller business operations to provide income so you can continue to farm your land holdings?
yes,
Would the inability to use your land as you have for your construction storage yard going forward compromise financially your ability to do that?
yes.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Do you have any questions on that for us?
No.
All right, do any of the parties have any additional questions for this witness based on just the redirect? If you do, raise your hand. What's your name, sir?
Matthew Stevens.
All right, I don't have you here as a party. Were you here at the last hearing?
No.
Okay. Are you a neighbor that lives close by?
Yes.
All right. Where do you live?
I live at 401 Stephen Drive in Leonardsville, Pennsylvania.
All right. Say your name for me one more time.
Matthew Stevens.
Counsel, do you have any objection?
Respectfully, I do, because he missed a whole evening of testimony where this was presented. I mean, there's significant evidence he's not privy to. That was the opportunity to become a party.
I understand, and your objection's noted for the record. We're gonna allow you to ask your questions. Go ahead.
Okay. My questions are pretty simple, and has anybody in this whole process of going through anything done any DEP or geological studies of how much water the plant's gonna use?
Can I object? I think he's referencing the
Yeah,
HK project.
so,
which this isn't about.
this is the time to ask questions on the redirect.
Okay.
So the questions that council just asked, that's what you should be asking questions on.
Okay.
You have any questions on that testimony?
No.
All right, thank you. Okay, do you have any other witnesses, counsel?
I do.
Okay.
Yep, you're done. I'd like to call Jameson Kauffman.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you please state your full name for the record?
Jameson David Kaufman,
And Mr. Kauffman, by whom are you employed?
Furnace Stream Farms,
And what is your role at Furnace Stream Farms?
supervisor.
Were you here at the last hearing and tonight to hear the testimony of David Kauffman?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And just to be clear for the record, are you related to David Kauffman?
Yes, that's my father.
Thank you. Have he and your Aunt Doris Long authorized you to testify tonight on behalf of the applicant?
Yes, they did.
And when you say you work for Furnace Stream Farms, is that the same excavating and construction company that your father testified he started in the 1980s?
Yes,
And he testified that that was started on this property as a whole, is that correct?
correct.
How long have you been working for Furnace Stream Farms?
Since I'm a little kid, but I went full-time in 2003.
Did you hear your father's testimony about Balfour Beatty leasing a portion of the property starting in 2004?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
And is that consistent with your knowledge and history of the property?
yes,
Did you hear his testimony that during the time period between 2004 and 2010, Balfour Beatty was using land in the area that's the subject of tonight's hearing for the storage of concrete barriers, construction equipment, trailers, and similar construction materials?
yes,
And were you physically on the property during those years to observe those conditions?
yes,
To your knowledge, were those conditions visible from Old Route 22 during those years?
yes,
Did you hear your father's testimony about pursuing a fill project in 2010 when an NPDES permit was issued to bring fill onto the site to level it out for construction storage?
yes,
And was his testimony consistent with your knowledge and understanding of that
yes,
activity? Did you hear him testify that Furnace Stream Farms, that the applicant started leasing space to Collinson Inc. in 2012, and that continuously since that time, they've stored highway guardrail and construction materials on part of the property?
yes,
And did you also hear him testify that Furnace Stream Farms has been using this subject area for storage of its own construction materials, trailers, and equipment since at least 2010?
yes,
And was that testimony consistent with your knowledge and experience and
Yes.
observations of the property? Do you view the use of a portion of this subject area by Collinson and Long Fence as a separate business activity?
no, I mean, they're people that we work with all the time. We store our construction materials there. They store some of their construction materials there. In essence, it's the same stuff, just owned by two different people.
So you view it as essentially the same use?
Yes,
Do those businesses operate out of this property?
no,
Do they have any offices here?
no,
Do they have employees on site here all day?
no,
So essentially, it is just storage of materials that's occurring.
yes,
And you view that all as part of the construction storage use, correct?
correct.
During any portion of the time frame from 2004, when Balfour Beatty arrived, until 2024, last year, did you have any reason to believe that the use of this subject area, this 2.6 acres, by your excavating company was not permitted or was somehow in violation of township requirements?
No.
In fact, during that time, did you have reasons that you thought the township was fully aware of what you were doing and the footprint on the property?
Yeah.
Can you tell me why?
I mean, over the years, I have been on the property with at least 2, if not more, people that work for the township for various reasons. I mean, I've talked to everyone, I think, who's ever worked for the township, who knows where I live, what we do, where our stuff is. I mean, anyone driving by on Old 22 can see that it's a construction yard. I never once thought it was any kind of secret.
Can you identify any specific individuals who have been on the property that were?
I know Ben Sonnen has been on the property. I know that John Yoder, who used to work with LTL, has been on the property. I'm pretty sure that Dave Mazeka was there once years ago, but I could be mistaken.
Were you physically on the property? What you said, Ben Sonnen, is that the township's current road master?
I believe that's his title.
Okay. Were you physically on the property with him?
Yes.
Would he have been in an area of the property where he could see this 2.6 acre portion of the property we're talking about tonight?
Yes.
Did you at times receive messages from Mr. Sonnen related to having your business and your property help out the township with its needs?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what is marked as Exhibit A24. Mr. Kauffman, I'm showing you what's marked as Exhibit A24. Are these 3 images true and correct screenshots of text message exchanges you have had with Mr. Sonnen?
Yes.
If you look at the first page of that exhibit, was that a request from Mr. Sonnen in 2019 for you to assist the township with providing fill for a township project?
Yeah, it was to build this building we're sitting in.
Do you recall providing fill for this project?
I believe we did, but I'll be honest, I'm not 100% anymore. That was 6 years ago.
And if you had provided that fill, would that have been material that would have been located in this 2.6 acre section of the property?
Yes.
If you turn to the second page of that exhibit, was that a 2020 request to have a concrete company drop a concrete head wall off at your property?
Yes.
And to your understanding, was that a concrete head wall that was going to be used by the township for construction on township property?
Yes, it was for a road project they were doing.
And if you look at the third page of that, is that a 2022 request from Mr. Sonnen to bring old concrete pipes to the property and put them on your concrete scrap pile?
Yes.
Are these the only times that you were contacted by Mr. Sonnen over the time you've worked at this property?
No.
So do you believe that Mr. Sundin was fully aware of what was happening in its footprint on this property?
Objection. I don't see how you can know what Mr. Sundin was aware of or not.
Sustained.
I'm asking for his impression, not actual knowledge of Mr. Sundin. Mr. Kauffman, was anyone else from the township on the property during the last, let's say, 15 years?
Yeah.
I believe you indicated John Yoder, the former zoning officer?
Yeah, John Yoder from LTL, he had been on the property once. In fact, when we got permits to do the building the Butler building that my dad was talking about, that like 40 by 50 or 40 by 60, whatever that building size is, when he was there looking at, doing an inspection, we went down because I wanted to see what his thoughts were. We have another building that we thought about building down, actually partially on this property.
Is that the building that's in pieces that was referenced during your dad's
Yes.
testimony last
Yes,
hearing?
that's being stored on that property and has been there since the early 2000s sometime. But I took him down there because we had been talking about, we were at the time seriously considering erecting that building down there on part of this property. And we went down and I said, do you see anything, any reason why we wouldn't be able to do this? Now, of course, we weren't sitting in an office behind a desk and computers and everything, but at the time he said, from what I'm seeing, I don't see a problem.
Objection. He's testifying to what Mr. Yoder said to him. Mr. Yoder is not here to testify, and not subject to cross-examination. Therefore, this type of testimony is hearsay and inadmissible.
It's a zoning hearing. I mean, I think we've already previously said.
We'll allow it. Objections noted. We'll allow it and take it for what it's worth.
So Mr. Yoder was with you on this property. Were you standing in sort of the middle or almost the old 22 end of this 2.6 acre area we're describing today?
Yeah, we were standing right there.
So you're near the word limit, is that
Yep.
correct?
Yeah, just.
On exhibit
Yep.
A3?
Yeah.
And the building you were looking at, is that stored more in the area of the proposed buffer planting down along Old 22?
Yeah, it's sitting in this area here.
So you're referencing the lower left-hand area of the hatched construction yard, correct?
Yes.
And to your understanding, do you recall Mr. Yoder raising any concerns about the zoning at that time?
No, it was never brought up.
Okay. And at that time, would Collins and Ank and Long Fence have been storing materials within this 2.6 acre area of the property?
Yeah,
And was Furnace Stream Farms storing its equipment and construction supplies in this portion of the property?
yes.
Have you spoken with Mr. Yoder since these recent township concerns about your use over this? Have you spoken with Mr. Yoder this year?
Yes.
Did you speak with him about the fact that the township had issued a violation related to your use of this part of the property?
Yes, I did, because I was trying to figure out what was all going on and why, after all these years, that if there was an issue, why I wouldn't have heard about it. So he was one of my contact points for the township for many, many years. And so I reached out to him to see what he could tell me about it. And sadly, he is away on vacation this week. Or I would have him here in person so that he could let everybody know what his recollection of it was. However, his response to me was, well, you guys have had things there for over 20 years. How are they
I'm
coming
going to
back?
renew my objection. I think that while it's a zoning hearing, he's essentially trying to testify for Mr. Yoder. I understand that he's not available this evening, but we certainly, if his testimony is so critical, we could come back another night for him to testify.
Is it possible to get Mr. Yoder here?
I don't think that his testimony is so critical, so I'm fine to move on from
All
that.
right, why don't we move on?
I wasn't looking to put I think you mentioned you had been contacted by Dave Mazika. Was that about storing material for the township on the property in the past?
Yeah,
Do you have any reason to believe that the township's current zoning officer, Ryan Westner, had knowledge of what was happening on this part of the property?
yes, after I was given.
Objection, Mr. Westner is here, so if we're looking for what he knew or didn't know, they can call Mr. Westner. They don't need to ask this witness what Mr. Westner may or may not have known.
I mean, I can call him also, but he's in the room, so he can testify to his interaction with Mr. Westner.
That's not what you asked, though, counsel. You asked about, you're essentially asking about what his impression is. He's here, so
Okay.
he's available to testify. That's what I'm trying to get
So
at.
I think the question is, has Mr. Westner ever been to the property?
Yes,
Okay.
Do you recall when he was at the property?
after I got the letter from the township, or was it, yeah, it was after the letter that we got. The initial complaint, I guess, was for, someone had called and asked about erosion control.
Okay.
And Mr. Westner and I discussed it. In fact, we met up there at the yard, and he asked for silt sock to be placed along the eastern side of the ground disturbance on my pasture side, which I did, I think, like 2 or 3 days later. I had a contractor in there and did it.
Okay.
And what, when was this? Approximately?
What was the date of the letter?
To your understanding, the township issue a violation letter in February of 2025.
So,
Is that the date of the
a
letter?
few days later.
Okay. Is that the date of the letter, to your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay, all right, understood.
Did Mr. Westner share with you any observations of his knowledge of the property when he was with you on the property?
Objection. He's here. If he has observations, he can testify to that.
It's a fact issue. He can testify to what Mr. Westner said, and then Mr. Westner can testify to contradict it.
I'll let him answer the question, and if you want to put Mr. Westner up, we're happy to hear his testimony too.
My point is that counsel is trying to elicit testimony about what another person told him, and that person is sitting here in the room. Why would we?
That's permissible.
Respectfully, he's allowed to testify to his interaction with Mr. Westner, and if Mr. Westner disagrees with that interaction, he can testify and say he doesn't, that's not what happened. So, he's gonna be allowed to testify to his interaction with Mr. Westner.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp.
I forget what was the question?
Essentially, what did Mr. Westner tell you about his knowledge of your use of the property over the course of history?
I believe if I remember the way he said it exactly, I believe he said he grew up out the road past our yard, said he's been going past there most of his life, and that, he saw our construction yard there all that time.
When Mr. Westner was on the property with you physically, was he in the area that we're discussing tonight, in this 2.6 acre area?
I think we were on the road, or out along the road.
Okay.
Along Old 22, I believe, if I remember it correctly.
Move on. Just beyond the township's presence and involvement at this property, has this property also served other governmental purposes in recent years?
Yeah, we take in material from the state when they do their road sweepings every spring, and we recycle it to use for our construction work.
And is the location where those millings are deposited in the subject area we're talking about tonight?
Yes.
And how long has the state been bringing that material to you?
15, 20 years.
So for the last 15 to 20 years, you've had various township representatives requesting to store materials on the property, requesting you to provide them with materials for township projects, and walking through the property. Is that correct?
Yes.
And during that time, no one ever raised any concern that you were doing anything wrong?
No.
Would you have ever imagined there was a concern about how you were using this portion of the property?
No, I never.
Mr. Kauffman, were you involved with the discussions with H&K that led up to the applicant entering a lease agreement with them in 2022?
Yes.
And would you agree with your father's testimony that the lease with them was entered into with the assumption that you would be able to continue to keep using this area as you have?
Yes.
And again, the subject area we're discussing tonight is just this 2.6 acre area hatched on Exhibit A3 and labeled as the limit of construction yard, correct?
Correct.
And to be clear, you're not seeking permission to use that area for any other type of industrial use, but rather just the construction storage yard as you have been using for the last couple decades, correct?
Yes.
And so the relief you're seeking only applies to that 2.6 acres, not any other portion of the R2 zoned part of the property east of here towards Sunday Road, correct?
Correct. Just the area that's already construction.
I just want to talk a little about operation of the site, just so the board understands what that looks like. Within the subject area, as you propose to continue using it, will the access to the yard continue to be through an existing driveway on Monument Road?
Yes, that's correct. We do not have a driveway permit from the state to access from Old 22, which would require permitting and.
Are there any employees that spend their day on the property?
No, not as a rule. Maybe if there's a broken piece of equipment that happens to be there when it breaks, something like that could happen, but as a rule, no.
Can you describe instead what typically the activity on this property entails?
Showing up in the morning, loading trucks, leaving, going to a job, coming back, unloading, maybe reloading for the next day, parking equipment, parking trucks, and that's about it. I mean, aside from when, of course, we bring materials in and or out to feed a project and or replace supplies, then there may be a little bit more activity.
On a typical day, outside of specific material deliveries, how many vehicles do you think come in and out of that yard?
6 to 10?
Is there any retail activity that occurs at the property?
No.
If you turn in the exhibit binder to A21, second to last page.
Okay.
Is that a true and correct copy of the property downloaded from Google Earth from November 1st, 2024?
Yes.
And does that depict what appears to be dirt along the eastern part of this 2.6 acre area?
Yes.
And in some of the prior photographs we have looked at, was there vegetation on some of that area previously?
Yes, there was.
Can you describe what was happening, that what was vegetated now looks like dirt in that photograph?
Yeah, so in the lower right-hand corner of the disturbed area, that was all an old topsoil stockpile. And at the time when it was put there, it was an enormous pile. So over the years, we've been pulling away from it and making it smaller. And one of the things that I did here was I took that topsoil, what was left of that topsoil stockpile, and moved it and put it on a new pile along Route 22. And to the north of, just to the north of that, there was fill that had been placed there by Balfour Beatty and or from the NPDES permit. And I used that dirt to raise the grade where that topsoil pile was that never got filled in from the NPDES permit. and just to make more level ground usable for the construction yard, so that we have the full footprint of that yard area level enough to work off of.
So it is area you were using previously, but you were trying to improve upon it, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And when you say there was a topsoil stockpile there that was getting removed from over time, was removal of that being used at times on jobs that Furnace Stream Farms Excavating was doing?
Yes,
So it was a business material generally, correct?
correct.
Are the erosion controls still in place on the property
Yes.
related to that earthwork? And is that because there's still raw dirt out there because you halted any further action after receiving the notice from the township?
Correct.
That was earlier this year, correct? If approval is granted tonight, are you planning to place gravel on a larger portion of the 2.6 acres than was currently there today? I'll start with this. Is there gravel on a portion of this area today?
Yes, a portion of it is, yes.
Is your intention to place gravel on more of the area than there's currently gravel?
Yes,
Would it still be in areas that you've been using all along?
yes,
Is that being done in part to cut down on dust impacts from your operation?
yes,
As part of that, do you understand that this would be deemed additional impervious area and that you would need to have a stormwater management plan and permit approved by the township?
yes,
Are you planning to do that?
yes,
And have you hired an engineering consultant to prepare a stormwater management plan for you, provided we have the approval to continue using the property in the way you have?
yes, we did.
Will you also seek and obtain any necessary erosion control permits?
Yes,
Has the exact layout of where the stormwater features will go yet to be determined?
yes,
Because that's going to be a technical engineering analysis, is that correct?
correct.
But the storage yard area will not exceed what's shown on Exhibit A3, correct?
Correct.
Does the site plan, Exhibit A3, also depict a proposed buffer screening along Route 22?
Yes, it does.
And is that something you're willing to install if imposed as a condition of the approval here tonight to help create a visual screen and buffer any noise or dust?
It is something that I'm absolutely willing to do. But quite frankly, I would like to ask the people that live across the street first. Because if I put that buffer up, yes, they will not be able to see construction yard materials stored on the site. However, I also think that it will more greatly impede their view of like the mountain and stuff from their houses. And I think it's only right to ask them if they prefer to see some stone stockpiles or prefer to see trees, 15 feet tall.
So obviously we're referencing that there are residential properties on the south side of Old 22 directly across from the area we're discussing, correct?
Correct.
In the years you've been working for Furnace Stream Farms, over 20 years, have you ever heard any complaints from any of those neighbors about your operations on this property?
Never.
However, ahead of tonight's hearing, were you interested in finding out if those neighbors had any concerns about this application before we got to the first zoning hearing?
Yes.
If you look at the exhibit binder, what's marked next as Exhibit A22, is that a true and correct copy of correspondence that was sent by Dave Kauffman and Doris Long to every property owner that was given notice of this hearing and that adjoins the entire 68 acres owned by Kauffman-Rausch Family Farm Partnership?
Yes.
Okay. So are the first two pages, I'm sorry. Is the third page of that exhibit the list of everyone who received that notice?
Yes.
Following sending that, did you specifically talk about this application with Vreeland Wood and Sean Nealon, two of the neighbors on the south side, directly across the road from this subject area?
Yes, I did.
And from your understanding of those conversations, did they have any concerns?
No,
And are they here tonight raising any concerns?
no.
Did anyone else contact you in response to your correspondence?
Charles Cover.
Okay, and Mr. Culver is a party to this matter pursuant to the last hearing, is that correct?
Yes,
But I don't believe he's here tonight, to your knowledge, correct?
I haven't seen him.
That's all the questions I have for this witness at this time, with opportunity for redirect
Sure.
following cross.
Cross.
All right, Mr. Kauffman. So, I want to refer to Exhibit A24, which your counsel distributed this evening. And these were discussions that you had with Mr. Sonnen, correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Sonnen is not a member of the Board of Supervisors, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, if you look in the first message here, he directed you to discuss the matter with a gentleman named Craig. Can you, well, would you agree with me that Craig that's being referred to is Craig Long?
Yes,
And while I know Craig Long is your uncle, he's also a supervisor and the secretary treasurer of the township, is that correct?
that's correct.
And with regard to the parcel in question here, that's been referred to as the 2.6 acre parcel, would you agree with me that a part of that parcel is zoned industrial?
Yep, I most recently found out that that is absolutely R2, yes.
Okay, so are you saying that most of it is industrial or most of it is R2?
The parcel that we're discussing right now
Yes.
well, we're here discussing the R2, so the entire thing that we're talking about is the R2.
So the R2 is in your estimation, is 2.6 acres?
Not all of it, no.
Okay, so so you would agree with me that a part of where the construction yard is in the industrial zone?
Yes, part of the construction yard is in I, yes.
Okay. And you'd also agree with me that the use of storing construction materials in the I district is permitted?
Yes.
Okay. Have you, or on behalf of Furnace Stream Farms or otherwise, contacted the township at any point formally to request a permit for storing construction materials in the R2 district?
No.
Before these proceedings, were you aware that part of this construction yard was in the R2 district?
Prior to these proceedings, no.
Okay. I don't have anything further.
Okay. We'll start with the parties again, ma'am.
So your LinkedIn profile shows you as estimator operator at Furnace Stream Farms since June 2000 to the present. And the July 11th, 2025 letter stated that you are the manager of Furnace Stream Farms Excavating. And I congratulate you on that. It's a great step up the ladder. Something we all aspire to. As the manager of your excavation company, are you in charge of obtaining the necessary permitting attached to any jobs that you take on?
Just like my dad kind of responded to that exact question. On most of the projects that we work on, permitting and such is normally squared away by property owners and or project management firms that we're doing work for.
Okay.
Most times we do not get involved in permits. In fact, I can maybe count on both hands how many times that was. And like my dad said as well, Mostly those are for septic systems, because that's one of the things that we do quite a bit of for private individuals that don't know how to get those particular permits.
Okay. So is your company expected to know and understand the ordinances in the areas that you might be working, would you say?
Usually by the time I get turned on to a project, there's already plans made up by engineers that all of that work has already been done.
So at that point, you're expected to comply with those?
At that point, I am expected to comply with the conservation district and what directions are all on the plans.
Okay. So you mentioned that several supervisors had been to the property over the years, and obviously being to the property kind of encompasses the entire parcel, not just what was zoned residential. So were you using that residential area at any time when any of those supervisors would have been on the property to have seen it and or noticed it?
The entire time for the last approximately 15 to 20 years.
You've been using that buffer not buffer, but that section all along?
The entire time.
Okay. And the binder at A17, the buffer doesn't really appear to be in use September of 2020, as opposed to 2024 where it's really quite obvious that it is being used.
Again, that was where I testified earlier that part of the property is greener in that photo. Mainly because if you see in the lower right-hand corner, there's a couple of dirt paths that go in and out into that upper right or lower right corner of the property there. That is two access paths that we were using to get to the topsoil pile and load it out as we needed it. But because it was a topsoil pile, it grew really good grass and weeds and stuff and made it green.
Mugwort, it grew mugwort, didn't it?
It did, a fair amount of it too.
So what kind of materials were being stored on your yard for this township?
For the township? Well,
Yeah.
it was all temporary things mainly. Like that head wall that was brought up earlier. It was there for, I don't remember exactly. I believe they dropped it off a few weeks before it was actually needed. And then when it was needed, it left. The picture of the concrete pipe, that's still there on a pile. I could take you over and show it to you. We never did anything with it. It's still where it got dumped off.
So it's actually not being paid for to be in storage, but it was something that was going to be recycled eventually, or?
Yeah, that was the idea. The township wanted to get rid of it. If they wanted to get rid of it some other way, they would have had to pay a tipping fee somewhere, and I was willing to take it from them and make it go away, so they wouldn't have to pay money.
Okay. Oh, no, thank you.
Sir, you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Vivian Jensen, how are you doing?
All right, sir, how about
Hopefully this
yourself?
will be easy then for you to answer there. Last summer, when all the earth was being pushed around, was that you, or was there also another associate on the excavator? Or was it just you working?
It was me and an employee or two. I don't
Okay,
remember who all
I think it was
were.
what, about a 6-week period, I don't know when you started to, when you finished?
It was stretched out. It was something that we were doing as we had time in between other work. So it didn't get done quickly. It was, I'm done on this job site, what do you want me to do? Well, it's Friday afternoon, I don't need to start anything. Go down there and work for a couple hours to finish your week.
Yeah, and some Sunday nights too. We heard the squeaky wheels. I noticed, all this all started, and that's what brought much of this to my attention, but, there was a lot of earth moved. I don't know, did you figure, being that you didn't know it was R2, but didn't you ever figure if I'm moving this much soil, because it was flattened out, everything, but it was extended pretty far from where it once was. So did you ever think that moving this much material would require any kind of application to do so?
No, at the time, I didn't, okay? That's the very short answer.
Sure.
Okay. And mainly that's because over the course of the last 20 years, that lot has been regraded and changed to suit what we were trying to store many, many times. And kind of because of the type of use that that property has been used for all this time, no, for that particular project, it didn't, no.
Right, and just because I observed that there was quite a bit of earth that hadn't moved. Alrighty, just moving on to that, quick question regarding the shrubbery. You mentioned potentially putting 15-foot trees or bushes
Well,
all along the line there.
the proposed buffer plantings that we have on the plan here would run all the way along Old 22. I don't know. if
Would they themselves be on a mound or just straight planted and
Well,
flat?
They would, I don't believe the plan calls for a mound per se, but it is raised compares to the height of Old 22 through, what, 2/3 or better of the property there.
Right.
As it would get closer to your driveway, of course, it would get closer to ground level.
Right.
I am not 100%, I'm not an engineer. I don't know what type of plant, like trees they like to see for that, or if that plan specs them, I don't.
Right.
So maybe my 15 feet is off.
I only asked this because when we were dealing with the solar project, they had the same similar situation, and our same arguments that we brought up were in question of how long would it take for vegetation to grow up to where you wouldn't see the yards, because most of all our properties slope upward, heading south. So you've got to have substantial height in shrubbery and bushes. I mean, minimum 15 feet from the start and going on up, and hardly compact together, just to hide the construction yard with not impeding the mountain view, so to speak. So, reason why I asked that question. Thanks. All right. Lastly, have you ever considered moving more of your construction across the street to Monument? I know there's some clean and green property up in that corner.
Across the street
Yeah,
from mine.
across from your place, across Monument, across from the current yard where the H&K plant will be.
I mean, no, not really, and I'll tell you why. Our first goal in life is to farm, okay? And the more property that we would have to take out of farming to, for construction and or whatever, it's just not on our list of things to do. You know, we want to keep as much of our farmland as we possibly can. You know, so that's why our plan kind of always was we're going to shrink down. We're going to shrink down what our operation is so that we can move out here and not disturb more of our farm and create more industrial type use.
Right.
You know,
Does that corner have any stored stuff or equipment or anything currently across the street from the current yard?
No.
There's nothing there now?
No, it's a farm.
But it's just there's a portion that is clean and green though, correct?
Yeah, well, all of our property is in clean and green.
Well, not the whole farm, but
Okay.
one in particular specific acreage, and was
Yeah.
14 total acres. Oh, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller, any questions?
Just one, yeah. So on exhibit 24, does it state anywhere specifically where fill would come from or where the concrete would go
No.
in your conversation? I don't see it on here.
No, not in the text messages, no.
Okay. That's all.
Right, and Mrs. Miller's not here, the Gibblers are not here, Mr. Culver's not here. Mr. Stevens, do you have any questions for this witness?
No.
Okay. You wanna-
I mean, you allowed him to ask questions last
Yeah,
time.
we did. If you have your questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Furnace Stream Farms, is that the business for the farm, like dairy operation, farming, ag, and the excavation business?
No, well, yes and no. Yes, Furnace Stream Farms is the name of the business that we use for, the farming end of our business. As far as construction goes, we use the name Furnace Stream Farms Excavating. So yes, Furnace Stream Farms is involved in both,
Okay.
but excavating is tacked on to the other side.
And for the years going back for the construction material from H&K and other companies that stored, I think you said the 78 Road project, there was always material stored there on that industrial portion where H&K is going to go now. That was a construction yard for a long time, where if someone were to look at that and that use, it would almost look similar to what an excavation company would store materials and where you were having it.
Yes.
So if someone was looking at that, they could just lump that into one, thinking, H&K is storing this material here, it's not two separate businesses.
I suppose they could, sure.
That's all I have.
All right. Do any of the board members have any questions?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep, this would be, I guess, the Kauffman, right?
Pardon?
Your name's both Kauffmans, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Somewhere in the testimony, questions, it seemed to me that it was alluded to us that, by you, that this was some sort of hardship towards your farming operation.
It would be,
How would that be?
it would require us to actually pay a rollback
If we
on
would have,
tax
Hold on,
purposes.
hang tight, just one at a time.
I'm sorry.
A rollback on taxes, because the rest of our balance of our property is in clean green. And that would create a hardship for us.
Is that because you would need to move the operations that are currently going on this portion of the property
Correct.
to a portion of your property that is in the industrial zone?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and which is in Clinton Green.
I
That's where
understand
the
that, I
problem
understand.
You understand, the next thing I have is, I want to just state that variances, the processes were, if I'm looking at the zoning ordinance, okay, this is spelled out here, and that most of this applies to things that are within a certain zoning type. And this is, you're crossing a line here, in other words, because you have your industrial and you have your residential, and variances are generally created for exceptions or variances within the rules of a certain district. For example, setbacks, might be some hardship caused by not being able to adhere to a certain setback or a height limit on a building. None of this really applies to that.
So, just for clarity's sake, and for everyone here, this is not a typical case that a zoning hearing board gets. This is a request by the applicant for a variance by estoppel. So it's a little bit, the legal standard is slightly different than a typical variance. And then the alternative, I think what the applicant is requesting is a use variance from the terms of the zoning ordinance for this portion of the property. I say that correctly, counsel?
I would agree. It is, you know, it is
Alright.
a extension of the rule that allows you to move in. There's a rule in your zoning ordinance, not to testify, but that permits where you have two zoning districts next to each other, the more intense district's use to extend a certain distance into the adjoining district. And what we've asked for is to allow that to be further than what the ordinance
So
provides.
you're asking
Right,
for.
that's a 60, that's a 601.6.
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
thank you. Is that
But
clear?
the principal relief we are seeking is the variance by estoppel, which is an equitable principle that doesn't show up in your zoning ordinance. It's a
All right.
legal
I keep
principle.
looking up that, I keep looking at that definition of that
And,
word.
and
Yeah, it's a,
And,
so we'll have counsel clarify this at the end. Do you have any other questions?
Well, I have, yeah, maybe they're not questions, probably more statements along the way. Like I said, I'm looking at the requirements for.
Yeah, let's just save those. So, counsel, do you have any other witnesses?
I do not,
Okay.
although I would request the opportunity for, to recall in response
Sure,
to
sure, absolutely.
other parties' testimony.
All right. Mr. Barbiers, do you have any witnesses?
I do not.
Okay. Parties, this is your opportunity to present your case. So we're going to start at the top. You will be able to present yourself as a witness. You can present any other witnesses that you may have and ask them questions. You will be subject to cross-examination by counsel and any of the other parties. So with that, sir, you want to testify?
If you are.
And why don't you come up here in the hot seat?
Okay. We've got to hand out our, basically what we put together here.
Yes, thank you.
How long?
Calling up one. That's me.
George?
All right. So just for housekeeping, ease of use, you've handed us a packet that we have marked as Paulinuck 1. I'm going to suggest that each page we give a letter, so we know which page we're referring to. So
Each one has a number. That helps.
does it have a number?
Yeah, there
Oh, I
should be
do
a
see it.
number
I do
on-
see it now.
Yes.
Okay.
What are the numbers?
They're in the right-hand corner.
Not on the first
Oh,
page.
just not the first.
Just
Okay,
not the
thank
first,
you.
that's why I missed it too. All right, that's helpful. So why don't we swear him in?
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, and Mr. Pollock, you can proceed.
All right. Mine is having given a few presentations to the township and planning commissions. I have a bunch of pages here. A lot of it I can go through fairly quick just because it's stuff we've covered already and with some aerial views and some things that have been already stated. So some stuff I really will move through pretty quick. The cover page is basically shows the properties that are part of this. Page 2, the Windsor Township zoning map, the one that we have on the wall here that was created November 11th, 2009, signed by the Mr. Mazegas, Paul Ridenhour, and Craig Long. The strip in the middle, the brown, is kind of shows you the R2 that we are talking about, our properties on our side of the street, as well as across 22 on the north side as well. Page 3, just a closer version of that. Same date. Moving over to page 4. Zone, residential, and the clean and green do overlap on this particular property. I outlined in white to show where the zone, where the diagonal lines are, just essentially what we're looking at. Page 5, this is also in the binder, that's on A3. And again, I had asked the question earlier, just where's the north side of, on the other side of Monument, so we covered that already. So that particular one, and I also addressed regarding the plantings on the well, so my questions were answered on this page. Page 6, essentially why we moved here. We moved here from York, Pennsylvania. We love scenic views. We wanted to have our own horse farm, and we enjoy the view of the agricultural fields.
When did you move here?
2009.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, 2009, yeah, right at the end of the year. We knew that some houses could be built in the regional areas across the street, but we were okay with that. We never expected the industrial construction to invade the residential area, but again, there's not much we could do about the H&K project, and just trying to slow down anything that you're going to run into, and we see pulling out of our driveway. Concrete slabs is not pretty to look at. I had asked Jim regarding the moving the soils around erosion, so I'm going to move past that. We currently, we put an extension on our house several years ago, and we had to submit plans for that. We also had to submit plans for a sand riding arena in our backyard, so immediately we went and got all our proper paperwork ahead of that. And really the big beef we have is when we're doing projects, we try to do the right thing, and when some larger scale things happen, they need to be applied for. And I know a lot of people in the community feel that way. And so there's just been a lot of complaints that we've seen at the meetings, and this kind of stuff that you need to have variances and apply for stuff. Moving over to page 7, it's a Google Earth. This was from 2004, just showing the properties there when it was a lot younger. And everything seemed to be mostly farming back then. Page 8. I know Balfour was involved with the property here. This was discussed at the last meeting, so it really addressed any kind of questions of what was going on with the property. It appears it was an industrial path for the use, and Balfour was part of that. Page 9. Dirt gets moved in and out, can't see from the road. Again, this was also part of Balfour, Betty, when they were at the property. That was addressed at the last meeting. Page 10, more disturbed soil appeared, moved from the embankment. This is right around the time that I learned that the Balfour site was terminated. And I believe they also did leave concrete structures there. I assume those were also moved around. Page 11 from Google Earth. It's hard to see the brush and the small trees that get cut down when stuff gets moved around, so the pictures do change from satellite to satellite picture. So that's also, this is apparent barriers left from the previous Balfour Beatty who was using the property as well. Page 12. Again, I'm not sure this one was ever addressed, this kind of area that, it appears there was work in the area right along the road there with those little extra paths. I believe Jemison may have addressed that in a question or two. So that's a March 2016 picture. Were there any permits and documents needed? I don't know, because I don't know what was done, or I can't recall, even though I lived across the street from there. But there was always movement with trucks. Page 13, more encroachment to the paths, so I don't know if stuff moving up. Right in the center, I see a dirt path which goes pretty far down into where the creek or the water runoff from 78 crosses under 22. That's a lot more green in this picture in 2020, like now, where a lot of the soil was moved up and moved closer to where that area is. That's right across the street from my neighbor's driveway. Next, page 14. Part of that large mound. And this led me to my summer of 2024 discussion with Jemison that there was quite a bit of soil moved around for that, let's call it 6-week period, July, August, November, not November, September. There was rain off. I was one of the people that had concerns regarding having buffers, those rolls put in. I brought it to the attention of the township because when it did rain, mud was going on to 22, and I was surprised not to have seen those put in place originally when the soil was moved around. So that there was no soil erosion control originally, so it was myself and one other gentleman that kind of saw that. Page 15. What the township may not have been knowing what's going on. I mean, everybody lives and drives by everything, and seeing the cement slabs all of a sudden was just really, that was tough. And realizing now after the H&K project was solidified, that the property was going to be a lot more busy for moving, dumping, and for whatever the needs of the excavating company. And I'm not going to read through all these, but it's kind of disturbing that there were nothing was applied for until basically we all started raising cane, folks who live across the street, and myself. But with the, let's see here, I don't need to discuss on this one. We've covered mainly most of the stuff. This was addressed in the Windsor Township meetings. And at that time, prior to filing the applications, the applicant had not demonstrated on their application for the township. So it was there after we complained that all the groundwork as we have here. Page 16, these are pictures.
Just briefly,
Yes.
I don't want to give you a hard time, but
Yeah.
I'm going to object to the extent that, we've provided an exhibit that just says what residents testified to. I mean, the minutes I'm okay with, but all the commentary to the right about what other people said at a meeting is, I think, in line with the hearsay objections Mr. Farvier's has raised. So
I understand. Your objection's noted.
Thank you.
And again,
there's a lot of content here that's
the board understands this and will take it for what it's worth.
very good. Thank you.
I just bring it up because discussions we've had. These are pictures of the area on 22 looking east. The property is onto the right. Right past the trees is where the site is started for this particular application. Page 17, this is looking west, standing basically in front of my driveway, looking west. 18 is basically just standing right in front of all the pile up from the highway of cement, pretty close to the road, pretty ugly. Page 19 is some of the wooded bank pile dirt that has been moved around. Page 20 is just basically showing what I see pulling out of my driveway, farther away and closer. 2021, even a little more zoomed in. Page 22 essentially is the family hierarchy for the property, which I don't need to go over that, who's who. You need to reference it, it's all written out here. Page 23 is the July 11th letter that is already in the application, so I don't need to do anything with that. I don't need to submit it separately since it's already in. That's a copy of the letter on the next page. I'll make it up here. Let's see here. Near the end. Oh, Laura discussed this already. We do that. Page 25. The excavator work permits must be applied for before doing any work, just because there was so much earth moved that was leveled off, but I feel the property was extended out towards that stream runoff. So I thought it was really important to mention that. And of course, manager, Jimson is the manager of the excavating business. Page 26. Applicant appears to know about zoning ordinances and permits since, being in the business, where that's applicable, they have to do that. Again, some things with the H&K, I don't have any questions on it. I feel that the hardship is potentially being caused by not being able to utilize some of the property across the street. And 2.6 acres, well, sizable to us. I think for the little corner across the monument wouldn't be a bad solution. So I'm just throwing that out there as my own 2 cents. And last page, 27. That just talks about the requirements for planning code municipalities, and if anybody has any questions toward those particular questions and answers, fire away. But other than that, it's pretty much what we have.
Any cross?
Briefly. Mr. Holland?
Helena, yes.
Sorry.
Better than I did.
When did you say you purchased your property?
2009. The end of 2008, we moved in 2009.
Okay. I think you have a copy of the binder, but I'm just gonna
I don't have to hear it. Yeah.
reference
Sure.
this real quick. You look at what's been marked as applicant's exhibit A10. I know these photos are a bit grainy.
I understand that, yep.
Does that show significant earth disturbance in the entire area that we're discussing tonight, all the way down to Old Route 22?
So basically out to here.
No, to the fence line, which is the extent of our proposal.
No, I don't see the fence line here, but and my driveway's right here, so we're just, so what's your question?
So I'm saying, is there significant earth disturbance in a portion of the R2 district?
You see things, they get moved around, trucks, vehicles, stuff get moved in and out in vehicles, so come and go. Looking at this picture, it kind of looks like kind of a deserted portion.
Is that photograph from May of 2008 approximately 7 months before you purchased the property? When you were looking at the property, did you take a look at what was around you?
When you drive into a place, you look around like this, look at the beautiful mountains, and then, okay, there's a farm here with, we saw more stuff up in here, but you're looking around, you're looking at the house and the property you're going to buy.
Did you look at the township zoning map before you purchased your property?
Oh, no.
When did you come to learn what the zoning was on the opposite side of Old Route 22?
Oh, this year.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen these maps before, we've been in here and out of here, so you saw where the R2 was, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
But this past year is the first time you ever really paid attention? Is that fair?
Yeah, maybe a little more than a year, just because of the projects we were also battling, what we understood.
I think you testified that you saw trucks coming in and out with frequency.
Yeah, you see stuff moved around there.
I think we've heard testimony that that large topsoil stockpile was at times vegetated. I don't know if you're aware, do you know that typically a topsoil stockpile is required to be vegetated from a stabilization standpoint when it's not being used?
Oh, I just think nature grows.
Well, I think both So from your property, if I told you that the distance to the disturbed area in those photographs in 2008 was at least 250 feet, would that seem like a fair
The
assessment?
distance from where?
From the edge of your property to the,
So from here to here is 250 feet?
correct.
I don't think that's 250 feet. I wouldn't agree with that.
If I look at Exhibit A2, is your property the one with a creek running through it on the south side of Old 22? Or
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so,
The driveway's right on the yellow line, essentially.
okay.
Yeah.
Are you aware that directly across from you, within 250 feet, there is land that is zoned industrial?
Oh, yeah, forward, yeah. I know it's on this side of the west side of the creek.
Were you aware that that land could be used for industrial use
Oh,
until
yeah.
the last year or two?
Oh, yeah, we knew, because they had always had business and customers on there already, buildings and scrap.
And I think you probably heard Jameson testify that this type of construction yard is permitted in the industrial district.
Yes, industrial district, yes.
If the applicant was going to not stay where it is and relocate its construction yard into the I district, do you realize that it could be just as close to you, directly across from your driveway, and be in the industrial district on their property?
I kind of disagree with that. What we all prefer is they take this potential area for refuse and staging and move it across the street, across the monument. That's what our wishes are.
I understand your wishes, but you understand that the township zoning map has placed industrial land where it is located and that those uses are permitted.
The industrial are, I know they're not gonna move it right on where the stream is, because that's water runoff from 78, so it's not like it's gonna cover the water. So, we're more concerned about the R2 area.
I think you testified that there was traffic coming in and out of that area over the last decade or more. Is that accurate?
You see vehicles, yes.
Did you ever raise any concerns to the applicant during that time period about their operations?
No need to.
Did you ever complain to the township about their operations or any potential violations?
There was no need to.
And so, if they were using that as construction storage yard for that entire period of time and nothing caused you to have concern, can you identify why them continuing to use it in that manner is of such significant concern to you?
Well, the greatest thing when he started pushing the soil around last year, I cleaned my car, next day it was covered in dust. it was kind of, yeah.
And so I believe the testimony is that the intention is to have the property be stoned or stabilized with vegetation upon completion of the project. In that scenario, do you envision significant dust continuing to emanate?
Don't know, because we got a cement plant going to be moving there, and 80 to 100 trucks. I don't know what that's going to drum up every day. So
And
we're
you
stuck with
understand
that.
that is a project that has been.
I know,
fully
I'm
approved by
stuck
the
with that.
township.
I'm not happy about it, but I'm stuck about it. I prefer things to be green in front of us and not obtrusive and waste products, cement slabs. We all prefer that.
If I reference your exhibit where there's a photograph of the concrete slabs.
18, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Mudby. With the proposal that the applicant has before the board at Exhibit A3, that is the area that's currently labeled on that plan as being for proposed buffer plantings.
Right.
Where that, whether or not those buffer plantings are installed or a requirement, if the applicant keeps its activities back to what is labeled on that plan as a 40-foot front yard setback line, do you understand that that means equipment would not be stored in that front 40 feet, and that area where concrete slabs were placed on a temporary basis would not be used to store materials?
So I'm not sure understanding with those plantings there, you're saying?
Essentially, if the applicant's intention is not to store materials all the way to the edge of Old Route 22, but instead to honor a 40-foot setback from the right-of-way.
But that's still in the R2 though, correct?
It is in the R2, that is correct. Would that help improve the view in that materials would be stored farther back into the property than as shown in the exhibit you produced?
I mean, for what, the solar project, if a mound's built up and you've got 15-foot trees that block everything, that's a better world. But all the houses are uphill looking down, so trees are going to be good and healthy, 15 feet.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any questions?
I do not.
All right, do any of the other parties have any questions for this witness? I see no takers. You can take your seats, sir. Thank you.
for your time.
Ma'am, do you wish to testify?
I do.
Okay, why don't you come up?
First of all, I'd like to thank you all.
Hang tight,
Oh,
hang
I'm
tight.
sorry.
Just, let's swear you in.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Just state your name for the record.
Laura Holman.
You can proceed, thank you.
All right, thank you all for the opportunity to address us all. First, I'd like to say that we all are neighbors. We all reside within this township, and what affects one of us has the potential to affect all of us, as we all learn what we can and cannot do upon our properties in keeping with zoning and laws. Mike and I did sort of a deep dive into the subject simply because we too are enrolled in Clean and Green. We contacted Clean and Green for more information on how to provide an option and ease the burden. The residential preferential land assessor at the Berks County Assessment Office was kind enough to provide us some information and guidance. It would appear from our communication, it is possible for the use of 2 acres in question to be moved across Monument Road to the parcel marked AB on the sketch plan from the Kauffman property.
I'm going to object to opinions given by the assessment office. We have no evidence. They're not here. This is very speculative.
You are testifying to hearsay. You don't have anyone here from the.
But she specifically said it to me.
I know that, but you're offering for the truth that's
That it can be
that's
done.
a fact and that it can be done. And we have admitted some hearsay testimony in this proceeding, but that certainly definitely hearsay.
Okay, can I say it without reference then? Information I found out.
To your knowledge, why don't you say to
Okay.
your knowledge?
These would be sketch plans.
All right, so we're gonna mark these. Do you have any more copies of these? Or is this all the same thing?
It's all the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, so we're calling it 2. Why don't you give one to council?
Should have 8 here.
Yeah, why don't you give one to,
Yeah, but I'll give everybody, give me 80 copies.
All right, it would
I'm
appear.
sorry,
Do you
could I
have a
could
copy
I
of
have
it?
one, please?
Yeah.
Is there one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. I got one for you.
all right, so we're looking at what's been marked, calling it 2. Go ahead, ma'am.
This is the sketch plan for the Kauffman property that would have been submitted to Clean and Green, or whenever that was submitted. I don't know what year it would have been. It would appear that it's possible for use of 2 acres in question to be moved across Monument Road to the parcel marked Area B on the sketch plan from the Kauffman property. Area B is already listed on that map as construction yard and debris, so it is not a part of the Clean and Green acreage. That should provide relief from any rollback taxes. From the assessment office, the farm referenced as property ID number 945405 02560412. The Kauffman-Rausch Family Partnership on Old Route 22, Hamburg, PA, currently enrolled in the Clean and Green program with the exception of 14 acres. A plan presented to the assessment office by the owner who designated an area both the north and the south side of Monument Road. The location of the excluded 14 acres was not determined by the assessment office. If the property owner needs to adjust the location, it can be done so.
Are you testifying as to what they told you? I mean, this looks like it delineates specific areas, and you just said the property owner didn't delineate areas.
Yeah.
The property owner did
Oh, I thought you said
define
did
areas.
not.
No,
Did not.
they did
Okay.
define areas. So Area B is on the other side of Monument Road. It is roughly a 2-acre plot, where Area A would be the large portion where the whole construction yard already exists. It can be adjusted as to the location of excluded acreage. To proceed, a family merely needs to submit a revised map indicating proposed changes. As long as the total in this case does not exceed the 14 acres, no rollback taxes will be due.
I object. Is that, are you, you're not,
Well,
are you testifying
what
about
are
Clean
you
and Green
reading,
rules?
ma'am, just so we're clear?
The information that I dug up from the Clean and Green,
But is this something that somebody told you? This is the same issue we're having?
When you say you dug it up,
okay. Do I need to provide the references? I mean, she sent us letters. We have email. We had several emails and we had a phone call. Trying to figure out an option to help with their tax burden that they don't have rollbacks.
All right, so why don't, it's your understanding from speaking with somebody at the Clean and Green office, the assessment office, that there's a possibility that this 2 acre or 2.5 acres could be moved to another portion of the property, and that would not implicate rollback taxes for Clean and Green purposes. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to present to the board?
Just hopefully providing an option like this can help ease everyone's frustrations. Because it seems like there's a lot of frustration involved in this and maybe not a whole lot of understanding. It's an option to look at. I'm sure someone smarter than me can find more information about how it should be done.
Okay. Do you have anything else for the board, ma'am?
No,
All right.
that'd be it. Thank you.
Hang tight, hang tight. Council, do you have any questions?
I don't. I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Anybody, any of the parties have any questions? All right, no takers. Thank you. Mr. Miller, you want to testify? No? Okay. Believe, Mr. Stevens,
No, we're good.
you don't want to testify? Okay. Council, is there anything else that you want to present to the board?
There's not.
If you rest your case?
I think we'd like to rest our case. Yes. I don't think, I do. We rest our case.
All right, and council, I'll ask again, is there anything you want to present to the board?
No.
All right. And all the parties,
May I?
Yeah.
Which part, not sure.
You have a question for?
I for councils here, right, estoppel versus 601.6. Yeah, where do we stand there? Like,
Well, here's,
if we're gonna consider this.
yeah, so this is a complex issue. Okay,
It
this goes back a number of years. And I think it would help the board tremendously if council, the township, and for the applicant, and if any of the parties would like to, before the board rules on this, to submit a letter brief. It doesn't have to be anything in a formal format, but a letter brief outlining the legal issues and giving the board something to consider before they render a decision on this application. So what I think I'd like to do is give everyone 2 weeks to submit to me a letter brief. If you want more time, I'm happy to, if 2 weeks is not sufficient,
I would prefer to have the transcript from tonight's hearing
Okay.
to reference for that purpose.
Can we have like 30 days, which would give?
I'm happy to.
I think would give the personographer an ample time to.
That's fine. That's fine. Is that fine with you?
That is fine with us.
All right, so
Is that okay with?
it will be, how about this, 30 days from when the transcript from tonight's proceeding is available. Does that work?
That's fine with me.
All right, so then we'd like to have that. And then what I would like to use the rest of the time for this evening is to select another night to come back to announce a decision, and we will keep the record open until the next night in case you change your mind and you want to call somebody else in the interim. Okay? So how about we go off the record? Let's try to pick a night where we all can come back. let's go back onto the record. Okay, we've gone off the record, we've discussed another hearing night, which everyone is in agreement. The next hearing night will be Wednesday, October 15th. We have agreed that we're going to formally close the record this evening. Council has agreed for the applicant to waive any time period under the MPC for the board to have a written decision issued within 45 days from the last hearing. Council, is that correct?
That is correct. The applicant waives that 45-day
All right,
written decision.
and if you could just follow up with me in an email confirming that in writing, I would appreciate it.
Happy to do that.
All right. So with that, one thing that the board reminded me that I'd like to get done tonight, if we can, is to, I know we've heard from parties, but is to take public comment from anyone who wants to make public comment on this application. Is there anyone here that wants to make public comment? All right, I see no takers. So again, everyone, the next hearing night will be Wednesday, October 15th. Council is directed.
Is that at 7 p.m.?
At 7 p.m. in this building. Council is directed that they have 30 days from the issuance of the transcript from this hearing to get to me any letter brief with respect to this application that they may have. The parties are also welcome to submit to me any brief that they so desire. Is there any questions from anyone?
Do you want that by email or?
The email's fine, and I will share it with the board. Is there any questions from anyone? All right, so with that, we're going to close the proceedings. Thank you, everyone. We can go.
Thank you all for your time.